Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. I've finally got a proper microphone and setup going here, so hopefully the quality of the video and certainly the audio is going to be much improved. Today we're going to be building out, I built a website for myself over the weekend. Now I've never really had a blog myself before, so I built this out over the weekend, and I'm just going to be making some of the more interesting parts. I will talk you through how I built that. The website is open source, so you can check it out on my GitHub, and you're free to use it for whatever you want. If you're going to use it for your own website, then make it your own, but you're more than welcome to use it for whatever you like. So you can see the code there. We're going to build out this video page. We're using YouTube API. We're going to build out a Next application and hook up into the YouTube API. We're going to talk about a bit about data fetching, and we're going to be styling it out with Tailwind CSS. So I thought it'd be nice sort of chill video where we can just go through some Tailwind stuff, go through some data fetching stuff with Next. And yeah, so with that being said, let's do the usual create a Next app, and we'll just call it YouTube page, and we'll let that run. We're going to be using the YouTube data API. It's a version 3. And what you're going to need to do is to go to, I think it's console.developers.google.com, this one, and get an API key. Sign up for the YouTube API and get an API key. I've got an API key handy, so make sure you sign up for your own API key. So we're good to go with our project. Now, one of the things I've actually added to the website is these snippets. So essentially, any code that I'm repeating in different projects quite frequently, I am going to add to these snippets. And you can see here we've got a Next.js JavaScript ESLint Config. I thought I updated that. However, maybe I didn't update that. I'm sure I updated that to include the install. Let me pull it up on the other screen. I'm sure I pushed the change live, but anyway, so everything is the same except I added the install command for all the modules here. So I will put that in the description of the video. If it's not on here, it should be. I don't think I've committed the change to Git, so I will make sure I do that. So we're going to install all of our ESLint Prettier, everything like that. I'm going to copy this and create a ESLint config. So here we are. So new file .eslint rc.js. I'm just going to paste the code in there, and I have the same setup every time. .prettier rc, and then I'm going to copy that snippet from here, and we don't need to add this lint or format because we actually format everything on save anyway. So in my settings for VS Code, you can see that where we are, we've got format and save to false, but then the code action on save is ESLint fix all. But then of course in our ESLint file we are using Prettier to fix the errors essentially. So let me reload VS Code, and then that should be all set up and good to go. Having a good setup that just catches errors before you make them is really important. Cool. So let me just as well let me commit this. So I'll add everything. Commit initial. I'm not going to push anything, but I'll do git branch starter, git checkout star. And actually, I'm not going to make changes to this. So let's do git branch. We'll go back to the, we'll make a master branch, git checkout master. And then that starter branch won't change now. So that will be there. So you can clone the starter branch if you don't want to go through the setup. Okay, cool. So let's make a page in here, and we're going to call it videos.js. The next thing I'm actually going to do, I don't need a snippet for this, tailwindcss next install. I am going to just copy and paste these commands to get Tailwind CSS installed. So we do that one. We can add the purge settings now. The defaults are always perfectly fine unless you're creating like new folders, if you want to have a layouts folder or something like that. Other than that, the purge is absolutely fine. So let's do that one. Then we just need to add it into our app like so. And you can see the linting errors are just coming up because I have double quotes and semicolons. So they're not by default. And then the last thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to do npm install, and I'm going to do, is it, okay, I always forget, do I need the @ sign with this? Tailwind CSS git. So this is a new, yeah, so we need this @ sign. So this is a new just-in-time compiler for Tailwind CSS. If you use Tailwind, then I would very much recommend using this new compiler. Basically, in the past, when you add, you have a base Tailwind classes, which it gives you a lot of classes out the box, but then you can extend the theme with extra colors and maybe a dark mode, and you're talking about doubling, or you might have like a 12 or 15 megabyte CSS file by the time you add a few variants in here. Now with the just-in-time compiler, rather than whenever you change your config, it will generate a massive amount of CSS that you can use. It will essentially, you don't really need to add the variants into here. You'll need to enable dark mode and you'll need to add colors and things just the same, but all of your variants like the disabled and things they're already there for you. So it basically compiles every time you add a class, and they've got the compile time. You're not waiting for it. You hit Control Save and it's done, right? So it's not like it takes any time. So yeah, it's brilliant. And yeah, now with that being said, we can start our dev server, and hopefully we are all up and running. I'm just making sure I'm saving all the files, so we don't need an API route for this project, so we can just get rid of that folder completely. And yeah, just save all this, make sure the code is formatted how we like it, so we're not getting any linting errors. So let's do localhost 3000, and we are good to go. And that initial sort of config and setup, we do it every time. I think for me, it's the reason I don't just have a starter template that I go to all the time is it is literally a few minutes, and I don't have to keep updating a starter template. So let's go to our videos page. It's going to error. So of course we need to export default function videos. I'm going to return a div. Well, why is that not giving me? I think if I do JSX, it will give me better auto completion on div. There we go. So yeah, we'll return a div, and this is the videos page. Okay, cool. So we've got that working. Now, the next thing that we're going to want to do on the videos page is just get a bit of style onto it. So if you look at what this one actually looks like, you can see we have got video, a bit of a title. We've got this component here. We have got the search functionality, and then we're displaying the videos. So actually, let's first, the first thing I'm going to do, let's make a .env file, and let's get our data first. I always like to get data first and then do styling. So let's stick to that. So I'm going to make two variables, YouTube API key, and that's going to be the API key that you created, and then YouTube channel underscore ID. And I'm just going to copy them in on the other screen here. I mean, the channel ID is public. It's just the API key that I don't want to give to you all. They're really stingy with the API calls for the getting started ones. So yeah, that won't matter to us because we're going to be using get static props. Okay, so we've got our API keys done now. So the kind of gave it away there. We're going to get our data like export get static props. Sorry, export async function get static props. It's been a long day. And then from here, we're going to return, of course, we're going to return revalidate, and 86,400 I think is a day. And then props, we're going to want to return stats and videos, for example. So then we're going to need to go and actually get this data. So we're going to need to do two API calls, and you can explore the documentation for this as much as you like. I've already made these URLs in advance, so not to waste our time, but we're using the channel to pull out the channel statistics here, like view count, subscriber count, and videos count. And that's the information we are displaying here. And we're also then using the search to get like videos for my channel, and that's going to get all the uploads, which is what we want. So those URLs, I will just copy them in here. I can find them, there we go. And we'll go through what they'll look like. So I've already coded this for my blog, which is why I have those kind of already ready. So we've got the channels endpoint and the search endpoint. We're asking for the statistics and content details. We don't actually need the content details, to be totally honest. I think I was just trying to find out where the information was. And then we're getting the snippet from the videos, which is going to give us the information that we need. So we need to do, let's say YouTube API key, YouTube channel ID equals process.env. And then let's just restart our dev server now that we added the environment variables. I'm going to install Axios for making our requests before I do that. I forgot about that one. And then we can run our dev server. So whenever you're building projects, I think, whenever you're going to be reusing something, you should usually abstract it a little bit. And I'm not saying you should abstract everything from the get-go. However, it's a data fetching function. So let's just get it in our utils straight away where it belongs. Because in most applications, we're going to want to be fetching data a lot, right? So export const fetch data, and I'm going to actually import Axios. Import Axios from Axios. Import export const fetch data. It is going to take a URL like so, and then we're going to say I'm saying like so, but I didn't actually pass an URL. So then we'll say const response equals await Axios URL, and that's just the get request. Say const data, we'll just pull the data off. Data equals response. We want to return the data. Of course, we want this in a try catch like this. So then let's move that up there, and then we'll just console log the error for now. And that needs to be async, of course, like so. So perfect. I don't really like the way that looks, but anyway. So that's our data fetching function, and basically we're using async await. We're getting a response, and then we're getting the data from that response. So Axios returns a data object. If you're using fetch, if you don't want to use Axios, you would just, if you did fetch, and then you would do something like const data equals await response.json, like that. So you can use either one, but this is for Axios. And there we go. So that's our fetcher function. So let's just import that. Is it gonna Axios fetch data? Why is it not? Fetch data. There we go. So that's imported now. So we want to, this is inside get static props, but I always like to code with the best practices possible, to my knowledge. So we can, if we make a function now, we can do async function get data, and then in this function, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that fetch data function twice. So I'm going to say const stats stats data equals, and the key here is this isn't going to be an async await call. We're not going to await the response. So we're going to say stats data equals fetch data, and we're going to pass in the statistics URL like so. Let's just copy that down, and then I'll call this uploads data equals fetch data, and then uploads data, uploads URL, sorry, yeah, uploads URL. So then now that we're making these two calls, these are going to happen, at the same time, essentially. This will happen first, and then this will happen immediately. If we were going to await this one and then do this one, it would do literally that. It would wait for them. So we're inside get static props, so it's only going to happen at build time or when we revalidate. However, it's not really the end of the world if it takes 3 extra seconds for a YouTube API call. Not that it takes that long, but you get my point, to wait for the next one to happen. But we can do them simultaneously, so let's do that. So from this function, I want to return stats, which we're going to await stats data, and we're going to return videos, which we're going to await uploads data, like this. And I know that syntax might look a little bit strange, but then we can now say const stats videos equals await get data, and then we're going to return the stats and the videos. And then of course we need to take in here stats and videos, like so, and we can console log out stats videos, and we should have that on the front end. So we run in, yep. Okay, so let's inspect. And this is one of the great benefits of having the ESLint config. When we're doing stuff like this, you can see when we're getting errors, and I have a high degree of confidence in the code that we're writing, even in just plain JavaScript. Obviously, it's such a small project, my blog website, there's no real need for TypeScript. So we have got a object with what's this? Yeah, we've got an object with items which contains our statistics. So what we can do with that is let's stats. So we had the object with items, stats.items 0 youtubestatistics. And that's going to be our stats like that. So we're going to console log in those now. Sorry, we need a comma. See, it was telling us, I was just not listening. So now we have our statistics, and then in here, it's just these items that we want. So we don't need page info. Is that something we're choosing to? Snippets, channel ID? No. Okay, fine. So we just need this items array. So videos, we can say, is just videos.items, like so. So we've now got an array of 11 videos, which is on my channel. It's a relatively new channel, as you can see. I don't really have any expectations for growth. I just want to keep putting out good content and hope that it really helps people. So yeah, this get static props function, if this was like get server side props, then, you know, having this, these functions run in parallel, it would make a big difference over a lot of calls. Or if you were fetching this on the client side, you know, it's the least important thing when you're doing it in get static props, but hey, it's good to show, I think, anyway. So let's get to styling this out. Now, this is actually a Tailwind UI component. So I think like statistics, application UI, data display. Yeah, so it's just this, which I've changed up a little bit. So it's relatively straightforward code. This is just in HTML. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this code from my actual blog that I've got already. Again, just to save time. So let's make a components folder. So we can put components, and then within here, let's do youtubestats.jsx, export default function YouTube stats. Oh. And then we're going to return, didn't copy it. So we're going to return this, and we're going to take in the stats like that. So with inside our component now, let's return like this. I do want a div, and then let's have another div, and let's put in our YouTube stats equals stats like that, and we're good to go. I think we're going to need as well, I noticed we've got cyan over there, the color. So let's do const colors equals require Tailwind CSS colors like so, and then we can extend colors like this, and then cyan is colors.cyan. There we go. So that should work now. YouTube stats. Yeah, we've got cyan, text cyan, and it doesn't ship by default. Okay, so we've got the div, we've got our stats, cool. So yeah, hopefully, you know, you don't mind us cheating a little bit with that to display the stats. Now, let's Next.js custom document. So we're gonna need a document to set the body color for the whole site. I mean, we could just do it at the page level, but again, I want to try to show you how to do it right. So you want a underscore document.js, and this is just the default document, like so. I didn't do the import. Here we go. It would help if we import this. There we go. And then the body, let's just do class name equals BG Gray 900, and yeah, once that, do we need to restart our server when we add a custom document? Don't know the answer to that, but we'll find out. So let's create a new component, and let's just call it wrapper, and I will do this in most applications as well. Export default function wrapper, because it's important to have consistency. Children, I'm going to take in children as props. It's good to have consistency. And so in this wrapper, I want to say, you know, max width dash 2xl. Let's put mx auto like this. Let's just save it like that, mx auto. And then I like to do this pretty much most sites I build. I'll do the same thing where we do like pattern of 4 on the x-axis on smaller screens, 6 on mobile, 6 on small screens, and then go to 8 for the max px-8, like so. Okay, perfect. So you can see our background color updated once we restart our server. We've got our wrapper function now. So within our videos, we want to, I can get rid of this, and let's call this the wrapper. Why didn't that work? There we go, so that's auto imported. So we've got our wrapper now. So that is, that's great. So let's move on to doing the next section, which is actually the videos. So we're receiving in our videos here. However, they're not in any particular order. So that's the first thing that we want to take care of, is getting them into an order. So let's do that first. So I will say sorted. Actually, let's implement, which should do first? Yeah, let's do the search. So if we do input here, input, we want type equals text, value, so we're going to need import useState from React, and then let's call this like search value, and set search value equals useState, and that's going to be nothing. And then the value of this is just going to be search value on change. We're just going to say that we want to set search value with the target name like that. And then let me, yeah, it looks brilliant. And it's not working. Unchange. Import type as text. Why not? Okay. Let me copy the styles across so we can get it looking good. I don't want to type all these styles out for you. So class name is that, and there we go. Don't know why we're not typing. Am I missing something? Have I done something retarded here? So the value is a search value. That's right. And then that's right. Oh, it's not the name, it's a bloody value. There we go. Okay, perfect. And then we can add, you know, placeholder, you know, search here, Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. And now we can do our sorting, because we want to use the search value as well to sort of filter through them. So on the, did we stop console logging? We did. Let me console log again. So I just want videos now. So on the object, we have got a published at. Perfect. So that's what we're going to use to filter. So I'll say sorted vids is going to be videos.sort, and then that's going to take, you know, like A and B, the usual. And I want to say I'm going to do a number, and we want the this, so it's in the object snippet dot published at. So there's a number, so that's going to be new date, which is b dot snippet dot published at, like that, minus number a dot snippet dot published at, and that's the sorting done. It's not data, it's date. So that will sort the videos out in the most recent dates first. And then what we want to do is filter these. So we want to say dot filter, and then for each vid, we want to say that, so it's a vid dot snippet dot title. So vid dot snippet dot title, and then we're going to lowercase this to lowercase, and then we're going to say if that includes search value dot to lowercase, like so, and then we'll return that, and that should give us our sorted videos. And what we can now do is we can say sorted vids, and then we want to do sorted vids.map, and we're going to take the vid like this, and inside of there we will return a div, and we will just put in, like, that's for now, just put in the vid.snippet.tile. That should work. We're getting an error because we need a key, but we've got our titles. However, they're not in the right order. For some reason. So videos.sort AB, so we take a number, new date, b.snippet.published at, minus number. Yeah, so we're missing the new date. So that's why that's not working. Okay. Perfect. So that was my most recent video. So it's working. So we can actually now, let's make a new component and say like vid display list item item.jsx export default function vid display list item. I like to be pretty accurate with namings. When you work on things with a team of people, the more specific you are for these sort of things, the better, I suppose. And then in here, like I want to be able to say, well, like vid.snippet.title, like that. And hopefully that is, we're going to pass in a video. So then in here, we want to say vid display list item, vid equals, yeah, it's vid as well, like so. And then we give that a key as well while we're at it. Key equals vid dot, what can we use? Vid.id dot video ID. Video ID. Okay, perfect. So we have the same thing. Now we'll do a little bit of styling now. So we don't just want the title, of course. We want to return, so we want an overall div. Then inside that, we want two divs, like so. And then this one will have the image, and this one will have, you know, the, it's gonna be a H2, because on the page we will have like a big title, which will be the H1. So then this will be the snippet.vid.title. And then we'll also put in a p tag in there, which I believe is the same thing. vid.snippet dot, is it description it's got? Yeah, description, like so. What if we messed up? Div h2 p div return, or I need to close the function. Snippet is not defined. Of course it's not. Vid.snippet. Oh. There we go. So you can see there we've got image getting started, whatever. So on this one, let's put this. So let's display flex. And then the image, I don't want to show it on really small screens. Let's just skip that on small screens. So I want it to be hidden, and then SM, let's make this flex. We can bring in import image from next image. We can bring in next image for this, and then we're going to need to add it to the domains list. Well, I'm just not sure what the domain is. So if we do image like this, source is going to be vid.something. So we've got a vid.snippet.thumbnails.medium.url. So vid.snippet.thumbnails.medium.url. The width there was 320, and the height was, I think, 180. Yep. And the alt, let's pass in the vid.snippet.title, and then we're going to get the domain name here. Yeah, ytimage.com. It's a strange one. So next.config.js, module exports equals, we're going to put in our images, and we need the domains array, which includes that. We're going to need to restart the dev server, and then our image should be working. So now that we have that, we can start to style the title a little bit. So if we just add class name, and it can't be too big, text XL text, maybe this is white, and maybe the one beneath it is going to be, I don't know what size I want to put, let's say like 300, see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks fine. That looks fine. Yeah, it's a little bit strange what's happening with the images right now. Let's put like margin Y on there, and then yeah, it's like the images are different sizes. I wonder if we drop this to 170. Strange. So a little trick that I like to do with next images is, if we add a class name to this and we say we're going to position this absolute like this, and then we need to put the relative positioning on the div, we can then define like a set width if we wanted to. And yeah, instead of making this flex, let's do a grid. Let's do grid dash calls dash 3, hidden small flags relative, grid calls 1. This one we'll do grid calls 2, or on small screens it's going to be grid calls 3, like that. Okay, not what I was expecting. So that's one column. that's, oh, sorry, 2 columns, 3 columns. So that should fix that. So it's full, but if we're on a small screen or above, it's taking up 2. Div, A. Oh, I'm an idiot. Grid calls 3, and then this is call span 1, and then again call span. Is it span? It is. Why is it not? Call span 3, otherwise call span 2. There we go. So yeah, all of the images are contained within the, what's his face now? This relatively positioned div. And then on the grid itself, we can put like, I don't know, gap 3, gap 4. That's looking better. We can, so they're contained by this. So if we round this now, why is that not? Do we still need a round? Is it rounding the image? Rounded? Yeah, potentially. So we've rounded the image now, and I think I like to fade it back a little bit, especially on dark mode. Maybe not that much. Can't remember what it actually is on my page, but I think just getting rid of that overarching brightness is going to make it look a little bit better. So that's what it looks like here, and then of course the image drops away when we go onto a small screen. So there you have it. I think that it's been nice to go through a project from the get-go to start and finishing in one video. I think we've done a little bit of styling, a little bit of using the YouTube API and data fetching with get static props. And this is going to refresh once every 24 hours. Now you can reduce that number. If you wanted to do it every 12 hours, you would half it. Or if you wanted to do it every like 4 times a day, then you would want like quarter of that number. It's like 21,000, something like that, 22,000, somewhere in between. And yeah, that is basically how you will do the static generation with Next.js for fetching multiple items. And you know, you can see the benefit of that. If I pull up Chrome and we go incognito and we do this website, and then we go to videos, and I'm only going incognito because I don't want any plugins to get in the way. If we do a Lighthouse report on the blog, where the page where we're fetching the videos, you will see that the results are pretty fantastic. So we've got our website fully loaded in 0.4 seconds. And yeah, we've got everything. It's not a PWA. I've not really felt the need to do that yet. I only made the blog at the weekend, but you can see that it performs really well. And even when you do mobile, which of course is throttled with the Google Lighthouse audit, you know, you're talking load time of a second, 1.4 seconds to interactive. But you can see there's no shift, there's nothing. So yeah, that is static generation for you. And even on the home page, you know, we're fetching blog posts, YouTube videos, and these snippets, and you know, exactly the same load times because it's statically generated in advance. So yeah, I hope this video was useful. Please subscribe. We've got lots of amazing content coming soon. I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye.